Have you ever met someone and felt like there was more to their story than meets the eye? Relationships leave traces, and some signs reveal deeper truths than we realize. Today, we're diving into an intriguing topic: 4 subtle but telling signs that a woman has had multiple relationships in her past. What's most fascinating? Some of these signs might surprise you. Stick around. Number 5 will completely change the way you think about human behavior. Before we begin, let's be clear. This isn't about judgment. This is about understanding patterns in human behavior and relationships. Relationships shape who we are, and each person's story is unique. Now, let's get into the signs. And don't worry, I'll keep it interesting. Sign 1. She's extremely comfortable discussing intimate topics. Women who are comfortable discussing intimate topics often display a level of emotional maturity. This isn't necessarily about their relationship history, but about their ability to approach sensitive topics without discomfort or embarrassment. It suggests that they've had enough exposure to these conversations to normalize them in their life. For example, they may openly discuss relationships, intimacy, or human desires in a way that feels casual and effortless. This comfort can also stem from a nuanced understanding of relationships and human behavior. A woman who discusses intimate matters with ease might have a deep awareness of the emotional, physical, and psychological dynamics of intimacy. This awareness could result from personal experiences, discussions with others, or even education about these topics. Sometimes, this confidence is a result of growing up in a household or social circle where these topics weren't taboo. If intimacy was discussed openly and without judgment, she might carry that attitude into adulthood. It's important to note that this doesn't always correlate directly with experience, but can reflect a culturally or personally open mindset. Women with significant relationship experience may have encountered diverse dynamics and personalities, which could naturally make them more skilled at addressing intimate topics. They might understand the subtleties of what to say, how to say it, and when to approach these subjects, signaling a history of navigating such conversations. Here's where things can get particularly telling. She might discuss these topics with a sense of humor or lightheartedness, indicating that she's not only unbothered by them, but also finds them easy to navigate. This nonchalance could be a subconscious hint at her familiarity, stemming from her past interactions or relationships. Imagine this. You're at a party, and she casually brings up the psychology of attraction in a way that's both insightful and playful. "Why is everyone so obsessed with first kisses?" she asks, smiling. "The real chemistry test is how you argue after 3 months." You laugh, but the thought lingers. She's clearly had some experience navigating these milestones. But here's the catch. Being comfortable with intimate topics doesn't always mean she's experienced in the way you might think. It could point to something entirely different: her confidence, her upbringing, or even her profession. So how do you distinguish between these scenarios? Let's dive into the second sign that reveals even more layers to this fascinating puzzle. Sign 2. She's a social chameleon. A social chameleon is someone who can seamlessly adapt to different social settings, personalities, and environments. This adaptability often stems from experience and a deep understanding of human behavior. When a woman is a social chameleon, it can hint at her ability to connect with diverse people and navigate complex interpersonal dynamics. Let's break this down further. A social chameleon effortlessly matches the energy of those around her. In a casual setting, she may appear laid back and playful, while in a professional or intellectual environment, she might shift to a more composed and thoughtful demeanor. This adaptability often comes from exposure to a wide variety of people and scenarios, such as different social circles, workplaces, or relationships. For example, at a dinner party, she might strike up a meaningful conversation with the host about philosophy, then turn around and crack jokes with the kids at the table. This ability to read the room and adjust accordingly often suggests a well-rounded and socially experienced individual. To adapt so effortlessly, a woman must understand how to connect with others. This understanding might come from observing, interacting, or engaging with diverse personalities over time. Social chameleons are often skilled at mirroring behavior, a subtle technique where they reflect the tone, language, or body language of the person they're engaging with. For instance, she might instinctively lean forward and use animated gestures when talking to an extrovert, but stay reserved and calm when speaking to someone more introverted. This mirroring makes people feel comfortable and understood, a trait that can be cultivated through repeated interactions in varying contexts. Social chameleons often display confidence because they've learned how to navigate social hierarchies. Whether interacting with someone in authority or a peer group, they know the unwritten rules of engagement. This might suggest exposure to different relationship dynamics where understanding status, boundaries, and communication styles is essential. For example, she might easily transition from mingling with executives at a networking event to dancing with friends at a club later that night. Her ability to fit in across these vastly different environments often leaves a lasting impression. While being a social chameleon is a skill, it can sometimes hint at a deeper complexity. Women who frequently adapt to others might do so as a survival mechanism, developed through navigating multiple relationships or situations where adaptability was necessary to maintain harmony. For instance, if she's been in diverse romantic relationships, she might have learned to adjust her behavior to align with her partner's preferences. This can result in an uncanny ability to be whoever the moment requires, but might also signal a history of relationships that demanded constant adaptability. Pause for a moment. Have you ever seen someone charm a group so effectively that you start wondering, wait, is this their real personality, or are they just really good at reading people? It's intriguing, even a little unsettling, but undeniably fascinating. So, what does this adaptability really tell us about her experiences and past? Is it purely a sign of her social intelligence, or does it hint at a deeper layer of personal history? Stick around, because Sign 3 will dive into something even more revealing: her circle of influence and how it reflects her journey. Sign 3, body language that reflects confidence and experience. Confident body language is marked by open, relaxed, and deliberate movements. A woman with this demeanor might maintain steady eye contact, stand or sit with an upright posture, and use purposeful gestures when she speaks. These cues show that she feels at ease with herself and the people around her, often signaling emotional maturity and self-awareness. Example: imagine meeting her at a cafe. She walks in with her shoulders back, her gaze forward, and her pace calm but purposeful. When she sits down, she leans slightly forward, indicating engagement, and her hands rest naturally, not fidgeting. This ease in movement conveys that she's been in similar settings before and knows how to present herself without hesitation. Experience often brings a certain comfort with one's physical presence. A woman who has interacted with a variety of people and environments tends to exhibit body language that says, "I belong here." She might casually rest her arm on the back of a chair or cross her legs with confidence, showing that she's not overly concerned about how she's perceived because she's secure in her identity. At a networking event, she moves effortlessly between groups, engaging in conversations without awkward pauses. Her movements are fluid, and she doesn't appear rushed or overly rehearsed. This natural flow suggests she's had ample experience navigating such interactions. Women with experience often display comfort with appropriate physical touch, but also establish clear boundaries. For instance, a casual touch on the arm during a conversation might indicate familiarity and confidence, but she'll also maintain a respectful distance when needed. This balance shows she understands how to navigate personal space based on the situation. During a group photo, she gently places a hand on someone's shoulder without hesitation, signaling ease with casual contact. Yet, if someone moves too close in conversation, she subtly adjusts her position to re-establish personal space, an act of both confidence and control. A confident woman often displays micro-expressions that reflect poise. Her smile might be genuine and brief, without overcompensating. She doesn't nervously bite her lip or glance around the room constantly. These small signals suggest she's been in enough situations to remain composed under various circumstances. While sharing a story, she maintains a calm demeanor, occasionally pausing for emphasis or smiling at the right moment. She's not rushing to fill silences or over-explaining herself, which conveys an air of self-assuredness rooted in experience. Quick question: have you ever noticed someone who doesn't need to do anything to stand out? They just have that presence. It's almost unfair, right? But it's also fascinating. How do they pick experiences? This type of body language doesn't just happen by accident. It's often shaped by experiences that teach confidence and self-assurance. But what's behind this level of poise? Sign 4 will take you deeper, revealing how her interactions with others and her social dynamics give further clues about her past. Sign 4. A treasure trove of stories and experiences. When someone has lived through many situations, they naturally collect stories that range from the amusing to the profound. A woman like this might casually share tales about unique travel experiences, unusual encounters, or meaningful life lessons. This treasure trove of narratives often reveals her curiosity about the world and her willingness to step outside her comfort zone. You're at dinner, and she starts recounting a story about how she once missed a train in Italy, which led to an impromptu road trip with strangers. Her story is filled with vivid details, humor, and a touch of nostalgia, leaving everyone at the table captivated. Her stories often include reflections on past relationships or interactions, not in a way that overshares, but in a manner that reveals her understanding of people and situations. She might talk about lessons learned from a challenging friendship or how she handled a difficult professional situation. These stories highlight her emotional intelligence and her ability to navigate complex dynamics. During a conversation about communication, she mentions a time when a miscommunication almost ended a friendship and how she resolved it through empathy and active listening. Her story doesn't just entertain, it subtly showcases her interpersonal skills and emotional growth. The diversity of her stories indicates that she's lived through different phases and explored various paths. Whether it's tales from her career, travel, hobbies, or relationships, these experiences reveal a willingness to embrace change and adapt to new environments. This variety also hints at a certain level of independence and confidence in exploring the unknown. She might talk about how she worked as a bartender during college, traveled solo to South America, or joined a book club that turned into a lifelong circle of friends. Each story adds a layer to her personality and reflects a life that's anything but one-dimensional. The way she narrates these experiences is equally telling. Women with a treasure trove of stories often know how to captivate an audience. They're skilled at pacing, tone, and knowing which details to include. This ability suggests they've told these stories before, perhaps to different people in various settings, which can hint at a history of engaging social circles. While talking about a camping trip gone wrong, she knows when to pause for effect, when to add humor, and when to bring in the emotional punchline about overcoming fear in the wilderness. It's not just the story, it's how she tells it that keeps everyone engaged. Her stories often aren't just for entertainment. They're filled with lessons or insights that reflect her ability to grow from her experiences. This wisdom suggests a reflective nature and a depth of character that comes with living through varied situations. While sharing about a failed business venture, she doesn't focus on the loss, but on what it taught her about resilience and decision-making. This ability to find meaning in her experiences reveals her maturity and emotional depth. Here's a fun thought. Have you ever met someone whose stories make you wonder if they've secretly lived 5 lives? It's like every sentence out of their mouth is a mini TED Talk, and you can't help but think, where do they find the time to do all this? But here's the thing, having a treasure trove of stories isn't just about what she's done. It's also about the company she's kept and the impact these experiences have had on her. So, what does her social circle say about her? Stick around for Sign 4, where we explore this in detail and uncover even more fascinating insights. Now that you're equipped with these insights, what's next? If you're curious about becoming the best version of yourself, check out our video on 6 skills every man needs in life. It'll give you the tools to thrive in relationships and beyond. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Until next time, stay curious.